So hello and welcome to the Internet Business School surgery session. Today it's myself again, Roger Norris, business manager and artificial intelligence expert apparently. I use it a lot in my job. It's really cool. And today what we're doing is we're following on from the training I did last week around email and domain emails, setting up a professional account so that you're ready to hit the ground running when you sign up for our Ultimate Business System software. What I'm going to do is I'm going to recap a little bit of what I did last week. I did run into some issues last week on the live call, but I'm going to roll back some of that and tell you exactly how to do it. I've spent a lot of hours figuring out exactly what to do to get this to work properly. And it's all to do with an issue with Google, which I will explain. And it came out of left field and caught me a little bit by surprise. Okay, so last week, what I started off by doing was walking through the process of when you're signing up for the Ultimate Business System. You know, it is a suite of software that you can run your business on. So it works best if you've got a really good domain name for your business and also an email account. Now, if you're migrating from another platform, you might already have all those domain names and emails set up already. But if you haven't got those, you needed to know how to do it properly. Okay, so I walk you through the process of buying a domain name inside a service like Fasthosts or GoDaddy, Namecheap, Honest. There's loads of them. Okay, but I'm kind of recommending more people use Fasthosts just because it's simple and good pricing. But it is kind of up to you, whichever domain agency you prefer. It's not a problem. And then I've popped in this new infographic just to explain a little bit about the difference between the Ultimate Business System setup and maybe a traditional WordPress setup. Okay, which might help to explain what some of the issues are that we're trying to deal with here. Now, in a traditional WordPress setup, okay, you buy your domain name and then you have to get some hosting to make your website live. And so that's a separate cost. So a lot of people use like hosting company like Crystal in the UK, and it can cost you about an extra sort of £7 a month. Or £5 a month, depending on your plan, to have a hosting account. And with that hosting account, you get something called a control panel and lots of other server tools. And that control panel allows you to build extra bits into your website and also allows you to set up unlimited numbers of email addresses. Okay, and then you have to do things like install WordPress on your site and plugins and all sorts of stuff. So actually running a WordPress website is really quite techy, and it requires quite a lot of maintenance to make it work. Now, inside Ultimate Business System, that element of website hosting is done for you. It's included in the price. Okay, so for Ultimate Business System, you just need to have that domain and you connect the domain inside the Ultimate Business System, which I'll recap again this week. But you don't have that control panel, which means you don't have email hosting from inside Ultimate Business System. Okay, which is why I'm looking at ways that we can do it externally outside of Ultimate Business System. I mean, it may be something that comes to Ultimate Business System later, but right now, yeah, you don't have a hosted domain website. Hosted email, sorry, inside of the platform. Does that make sense? Do you get those two distinctions? Is that relatively clear? I know I'm going to be throwing around quite a lot of techie terms this week. Okay, some of them the techie terms you might not need to know what they actually stand for. We just need to understand the process. Okay, Hazel's got that. Thank you, Hazel. Okay, so this was what my plan was last week, was sort of making that distinction that the Ultimate Business System doesn't actually offer that email inbox hosting. okay, because it doesn't offer something called POP3 or IMAP. So my plan was to create a webmail domain email that I did through FastHost last week, and then use that to connect to my personal Gmail account, so that I could send and receive emails through from my domain address directly through my personal account. However, what I found out is that no longer works properly because Google are changing the rules. So you can still connect a domain email to send emails from your personal account, but you can't receive them because they're removing something called the POP3 support. Now, this was something that caught me by surprise, and the ramifications of it are actually quite large. It's sort of a little news story that appeared in January time, and no, I didn't see anyone particularly talking about it. But it's only when it kind of overlaps with something that I want to do with emails that it suddenly becomes really important. Okay, so this POP3 support, it's kind of like an old way of platforms talking to each other, I suppose, is the simplest way of explaining it. And apparently it's technology that's been around since like the 1980s, 1990s. It's been around for donkey's years. And Google, essentially, they used to allow you to use your Gmail inbox as or kind of like a universal inbox. So you could connect up all sorts of other email addresses inside it and merrily send and receive all those emails inside your personal inbox. But they've closed that off now. So they've closed off this POP3 support, and it's being rolled back from January this year and completely phased out, I think by the summer, something like that. So people have been relying on this sort of POP3 connection in their personal emails. Suddenly, later on in the summer, they're going to stop getting emails from their business accounts. It's just going to stop. And they probably won't know and they won't notice and might miss all sorts of inquiries and business. Be scrambling around to fix the problem. So this is the issue that we have to overcome, this whole POP3 stuff. Okay. So in order to overcome this, what I needed to do was to find a route to make this as simple and cost-free as possible. Okay, so I'm trying to find two different routes for you, depending on how much money you've got and what you want to invest in your email setup. And also in terms of simplicity as well. So what I did last week is I used this offer in FastHost, which is where I have my business domains, to allow me to to set up a domain password, a domain email address for £1 a month. Okay, which is pretty good. And then last week I set up really quickly a mailbox inside my FastHost account for info@aibizconsultants.co.uk using one of their mail plans called Mail Basic, which is like the pound a month job. Right. Then I started to get run into a bit of trouble. Because last week I was talking about email forwarders and things like that. What I've since found out is that email forwarder side is not going to be of any help to us. And I did try and create another sort of email forwarder for this roger@aibizconsultant.co.uk, which kind of worked for sort of receiving emails in an inbox, but I couldn't send anything. So what I've done last week is I've actually rolled back and deleted the forwarder that I made last week. Okay, so you can forget about that route. And what I did was because on the mail plan I've got, it allowed me to set up 25 different mailboxes for the £1 plan. I just created a new mailbox for roger@aibizconsultant.co.uk. Okay, so I've got those two nice and simple email addresses that I can now access inside my webmail. So let me just drop out to actually my Fasthost account. Here's my AI business consultant. And then we click on email. And this is the page I was just showing you, okay, in live. Okay, so I've got these two mailboxes and I've removed all the forwarders. Okay. And then I can access that email address inside a Fasthost webmail mailbox. Okay, so that's great. So I've got a great way of being able to send and receive emails around info@aibizconsultant.co.uk through this Fasthost webmail. But Fasthost webmail is not very convenient to have on my computer all the time and on my mobile phone. So we needed a better solution for it. Okay. All right. So what I'd found is inside the email page, there's a little link on here that said, read through our step-to-step email software setup guide. Okay, and that's the information that we're going to need this week. All right, and you find that by clicking on the mailbox, and there is a link here. Okay, and when you click on that link, it opens up this page. Okay, and this is all the recommended POP3 and IMAP settings. Okay, which sound really scary. And this used to be the information I would use to set up an email to be able to send and receive it inside my personal Gmail account. But the problem is that what Google have done by taking away that POP3 section is this bit doesn't work. So we're going to ignore all these POP3 settings and just concentrate on this bit, the IMAP. Okay, so whichever web mail service you use, then you're going to be looking for these IMAP settings. Okay, so if you're in things like GoDaddy or whatever, just look in the help documents until you search for IMAP, and hopefully it will bring up the right sort of documentation because this is the information you're going to need. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to use that in a moment. So I intimated that I've come up with sort of two separate routes for you to go down to set up a domain email. And it's going to depend on you which one is going to work best. So first off, you've got to think about is how busy is your mailbox going to be? Okay, are you going to be sending and receiving a lot of messages or a lot of attachments? Is it going to build up the sort of the memory storage of your email account very quickly? And do you need to have sort of instant access to your emails all the time? We need to know what your budget is if you want to do it as cheaply as possible, or if you're willing to invest £5 to £10 a month in a more professional setup. Okay, so at the moment with the budget version that I've set up that I'm going to show you, it's just costing me £1 a month for that webmail access through Fasthost. But if I want a better, more efficient setup, it's going to cost around sort of £5 to £10 a month. Okay, so I'm going to show you those two different routes. You can also potentially look at what software access you already have. So it's trying to find out if you've got software that has mailbox hosting with it included. Okay, so you might already have a Google Workspace account for business, and that has email hosting included in it. And then we also finally we need to work out how you want to look at your emails. Are you happy with just looking at your emails only on your mobile, or happy looking at them only on your desktop, or do you need both options? Okay, so those are the thought processes that you need to go through to figure out which of these two routes work best for you. Okay, so let's look at option one. And this is kind of a little bit what I was trying to do last week, um, and ran into this problem, but I've solved it for you. Okay, so what we're going to do as an option one, as a cheap version of an email setup, is we're going to set it up so that you can access your emails, your domain emails, that info@aibizconsultants.co.uk, and I can now access it within my Gmail app on my phone, um, and also then on my desktop. So I've got a Mac desktop, so I can set it up in Apple Mail. Now, the reason this is kind of confusing, this POP3 situation from Google, is that POP3 scenario only really applied inside the desktop mail app. Okay, so that would be coming to your Gmail account here and clicking on the settings, and there is a section here for accounts and import. Okay, and this is where I'd be setting up the checking mails from other accounts, which only works using this POP3 service. Okay, and this is where I can also then, once I've set that up, I could have set up the send mail as. Okay, and once I've got that all set up in a personal desktop Gmail, I can send and receive across various different email addresses. Okay, but this bit is gone. Okay, the check email address from other accounts. Okay, but it's gone from the desktop app. But bizarrely, the settings, the IMAP settings, still operate in your phone. Okay, so the Gmail app on your phone, you can still set it up to access emails from other accounts. Okay, so I've screenshotted the whole process for you. Okay, so in your phone, okay, imagine it doesn't, I'm sure it doesn't matter whether it's Android or Apple. Okay, if you open up your Gmail app, so this is my demo account that I use for automation relation, which is the one that I just showed you up here. And this is my view of it in my phone. Okay. And then I've got all my emails that come through. Once I've got that open, you click on the profile icon up here. Okay, your profile image, and it opens up a separate menu to show you all your other accounts that you've got logged into your phone. Okay, and there is a button here that says add another account. Okay, so you click on that button, and that brings up this submenu. Okay, so I can set up an email account from Google or Outlook or Yahoo, Exchange, Office 365 or other. Okay, so for this setup with my webmail setup, I clicked the other button. Okay, and then it just says, hey, okay, what's your email address? And you just type in the new domain email address that you've created through your webmail account. And then it asks you for that account password, and then it asks you for the server, for the incoming server settings. Okay. So this is when you refer back to that document and you look at the incoming server settings, and for IMAP, and it's that mail.livemail.co.uk. All right. So that's why I've put that in that box for the incoming server. And then it asks for the outgoing server settings. And you do the same thing, get that bit of information from that fast host page. Okay, so that's the SMTP server, whatever that stands for. And then it gives you this next box that says, right, okay, how often do you want me to sync that mailbox? Do you want to be notified when your mails arrive, etc.? Okay, so you leave all those ones blue ticked. Now, the lowest amount of sync time you can request is 15 minutes. Okay, so it's not an automatic live syncing option of your emails inside your Gmail app. You can set this for, I think it's like 2 hours or 12 hours. Okay, but the most often you can set it is 15 minutes. Okay. When you've gone through that page, it says, hey, your account is set up and the emails are on the way. And then you can give yourself a display name for that email account. And then I just sort of went ahead and tested it inside my app. So I basically sent myself a test message from my Google account to my new info at AI Biz Success. And it came through no problem at all straight away into my other new account. And then I was able to reply back to set up, to check that I could send as well as receive emails from that new account. Okay, so really simple to do. Okay, I could bless Carl. Carl has he's got a background in all these sort of techie stuff. It says SMTP is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Okay, thank you. I I will remember that and instantly forget it. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Okay. Okay, so that's a really simple way of setting up that email address on your phone so that you can send and receive emails from your new domain email address on your phone. Okay, I say the caution is that it will only update every 15 minutes. Okay, so once you've got that set up, the next thing you do, because you can't set up your email on your this Google app on your phone, it's in Chrome, you have to do it in a different way. And it's actually fairly simple because Apple, or if you've got a Windows computer, they have their own mail program built in. Okay, so there is this is Apple Mail, okay, which is native to the desktop device I use. And I've set this up again, so this sends and receives this new domain email account. So you see it's synced there with the same information I had on my mobile. Okay, so nice and easy. So when you open up that Apple Mail account, it asks you to, if you're using it for the first time, it asks for you to select a mail account provider. Okay, it gives you all these options, and there's a button there that says Other Mail Account. Okay, so I would just sort of click on that one. Or if you've already got another email set up inside Apple, then there will be a button in there that says add a new account. Okay, and then I just have a simple button of putting my name in, the email address, and the webmail password, and you then get to sign in. And then you get to this page and it asks you for the IMAP settings. Okay, and then that's where you put your incoming SMT IMAP settings for mail.livemail.co.uk and the outgoing mail server. There's another box here for username that is left as default. I tried putting in my name into there and it wouldn't work. So I went back and deleted it and just left it as default or automatic. I think it said something like that, and signed in and it worked. Okay, so essentially you're just putting in those two mail servers and signing in, and then it set up automatically. Okay, so that's definitely a way that I can now set up to send and receive all those emails inside my Mac and on my phone through the Gmail app. Okay, which is a whole system which is easy to manage and use and is only going to cost me £1 a month. Okay, so Windows, I haven't used Windows for 10 years. I know David has just come in and said Windows no longer has a mail account inside. They stopped this. Do they not? Have they taken away Outlook completely? Wow. Okay. It's crazy. Okay. You know why they're doing this, yeah? If they've stopped providing these mail service within your device, it's because they want your money. Okay. They want you to sign up to a more premium service. Okay. It's as simple as that. They'll couch it in security or something like that. The bottom line is pay us some more money. Okay. Um, so we then have to look at what the more professional setup is. Okay. So this cheap setup I've shown you, okay, is going to work for, um, well, now it definitely works if you've got a Mac and a Gmail app on your phone. But the problem that we've got is you're going to have to do quite a lot of space maintenance because these cheap mailboxes will only give you sort of 2 gigabytes of storage space. Now, 2 gigabytes is quite a lot, but it can fill up, particularly if you're sending and receiving emails. Um, with lots of attachments and images and things like that. So every now and again, you would have to go into your webmail account and do some tidying up, remove and delete the spam and maybe delete old messages. Okay. But if you're not going to get a lot of mail, then that's probably, that's an issue that you're not going to worry too much about. Okay. Um, Otherwise, it's going to force you to buy more space. Okay. But you want to avoid this space getting full because otherwise people are going to be sending you emails and they're just going to get a message back saying, oh, the server's been rejected, or the message has been rejected because the mailbox is full. And then you're missing business. Okay. So, okay, this system, I say, works if you're doing a low um, volume business. Okay. If you're doing anything busier, you're going to have to start looking at a pro setup from the start, which is a hosted mailbox. And essentially, that is what Google are pushing you towards by getting rid of that POP3 settings, and what apparently now Microsoft are doing by getting rid of Outlook on Windows. I think David's just said yes, from Windows 10, you have to pay. Um, no longer, it works on 7 now. Yeah, Windows 10 you have to pay. Great. Okay. So I say they're looking for extra money for you. So let's give you some options on that one for this pro setup. Now, we've already, last week, I did mention about getting a Google Workspace account, which is kind of like a business account, which, depending on where you are in the world, you can get a starter account for I think this it says £7 per user a month, or a standard account for £14 per user amount. There's a bit of discount for the first 3 months. Okay, but these also they come with a lot of extra benefits, like lots of extra storage spaces and access to things like Gemini and Notebook LM and video calls and all sorts of extra stuff. Okay, so you've got to have that sort of thought that you're not just buying an email address with this. Okay, you're buying a whole sort of business package. Okay, so that's one option you could go through depending on your preferences. And I also showed the options for Microsoft 365 Business, um, which again looked a bit cheaper, but I then noted that the prices don't include VAT. Okay, so they're similar pricing. Okay, it's really annoying they go from right to left rather than left to right. There's all those subtle things, ways that they lay out their pages. Okay, so yeah, if you're on a Windows ecosystem, it's one to consider. And again, you get a whole bundle of other tools and resources and AI stuff in here. but you get your custom business email. Okay. Now, what I have looked up is I've looked up a couple of other options that you might be worth considering if you want to steer clear of these bigger bundles from Google and Microsoft. There is a platform called Fastmail, which does some basic email hosting accounts. Let's see, it's £2.70 a month here for a basic account, or £4.50 a month for a premium business email. So still a lot cheaper. Okay, so that is definitely something to think about, and you can get pricing over longer periods with them as well. So Fastmail is a good option. Um, Zoho, Zoho Mail is also got some really good pricing for simple workplace standard users. So £3.20 a month. Okay. The sales page for Zoho, or this pricing page, it goes on forever. Let me just click onto it. Okay, so these are the sort of mail plans they've got, and you can look at it, compare them against pricing and storage, support and migration, attachment limits, email sharing. Okay, oh, there's more. Soho Work Drive. Okay, and there's Zoho Writer Sheet and Show, whatever that is, calendar, to-do lists, notes, whatever Zoho Click is. Looks like a messaging thing. Okay, so there's loads and loads of stuff that you get in Zoho. All right, but it goes on forever, so it's kind of difficult to compare them. But the main thing is looking at that, I suppose, at that top level price, £3.20 a month for WordPress standard. Okay, so that is another very viable option for you to sign up. Okay, it depends on you and your personal preference. I think another one is Proton Mail as well. You can look at, there's got a lot more sort of security in there as well. With Proton Mail, they do hosting emails. So there are options out there away from Google and Google Workspace and the Microsoft Outlook accounts. Okay, but essentially what you'd have to do is you would sign up for one of these plans, and you can then set up your domain email inside there, and it will give you all the mailbox settings for you to work through. Okay, but bottom line is you want to be able to have a webmail app or a Zoho app on your phone where you've got emails to hand all the time and you can access them easily on your desktop. Okay, so that is the bottom line. Okay, does that all make sense? Does that clear things up a little bit around the sort of options of these different products? Okay, there are probably other options that you go through as well. There's lots of different ways of skinning a cat. Okay, but that is the kind of like the simplest option. Okay, all right. So once I've done once we've done this, and usually on Friday I'll have uploaded the video onto YouTube. You can, if you need to, you can follow through that process step by step and just pause the video. Okay, to set up in Gmail if you need a bit of help seeing the different screens. Okay, cool. Right. So that's a bit more of the recap side. Okay, I know there's quite a lot in there, but it was quite a big area to try and get right and understand what you can and cannot work with. Okay, so once you've got your email, you sign up for your UBS account, and then we have to set up the email inside the Ultimate Business System. Okay, so the first thing to do with the setup would be to connect your domain, and then we're going to create a dedicated sending domain for our email. So essentially, we're going to create a subdomain, a bit like sort of mail at AI bizconsultants.co.uk, and we're going to use that inside my platform to be able to send out emails and set marketing emails, etc., and create that sort of virtual mailbox inside the platform. Okay. And then I'm going to show you how to make sure that it's all healthy and the messages get through with all this techie stuff like SPF and DKM and tracking stuff. Okay. So don't worry too much about these technical stuff. It is going to hopefully end up as a bit of a copy and paste exercise. Okay. So that is the plan that I'm going to show you now. So yeah, let's just do it. Okay, here is my new Ultimate Business System dashboard for AI business consultants. And what I did since last week is I've already connected the domain. Okay, so we go into the settings section and then we use the domains and URL directs. And you can see I've added in AI business consultants .co.uk. Now, this is a process that Vish showed you in, I think, in lesson 16. Okay, and it's a case of copying and pasting DNS records into your domain. Okay, so if I go back to my domain in here, inside Fasthosts, okay, actually, let me just go straight into this section here. Oh, it's in advanced DNS. There we are. In the DNS settings, I just copied and pasted exactly what the Ultimate Business System platform says. Right, set up this A record. It'll say add an A record, points to whatever. And then it wants you to set up some CNAME records, etc. Okay, you just follow exactly what it said. Okay, and it is literally just a copy and paste process. So if you go back to lesson 16, Vish runs through that. Okay, but now I have successfully connected that domain to my Ultimate Business System AI Business Consultant address. Okay. So I basically gave it time for those DNS settings to propagate, to connect throughout the world web. Okay, so that's what I did during the week to make sure it was ready for today. Now, the next thing we're going to go to is for our email services. Okay, so this is in the settings section, email services. Now, when I boost into this, okay, it says you get this warning message, keep on for the first time. Important notification, boost your email delivery. Get a dedicated sending domain for improved email delivery. Okay, so what we're going to do is the Ultimate Business System. You could rely on, if you can see under here, there's a select default provider. Which is the underlying email system that we've set up across the whole of the Ultimate Business System ecosphere. But it's probably best for you to not use this. Okay, so instead, just create your own dedicated domain. Okay, because basically, if everyone ran all their businesses through our one email option here, you could get people spamming and creating issues, and it would affect everyone on the account. Okay, so it's very easy to create your own dedicated domain. I hope it's very easy. Okay, right, let's show you through the process. So we're going to enter the domain name here, and I'm going to just use mail.aibiz consultants.co.uk. Okay, consultant. One. So there's only one of me. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to, you can have anything in front here. You could have happy .aibizconsultant.co.uk. No one's ever going to see it. It doesn't really matter. So just leave it as mail dot. Okay. And then it says add and verify. Okay. So it's going to try and start verifying MX domains. Okay. But we haven't actually set those yet. Okay. So connect your domains and subdomains. So I'm going to press continue. And it's going to look at the DNS settings I've got in my Fasthost account. And then it's going to give me this table of text records and CNAMEs and MX records. Okay, so this looks a bit scary. Okay, but essentially what these ones are doing, okay, is they are validating your ownership and control of your email through your domain. So when you're sending messages out, the other inbox that you're sending them to can look at the coding in them and go, okay, right, I can see that that email is linked to that account, so it's not a spam or as dangerous, and it's verified ownership as well, and it's got all the right sort of protocol set up, so it's safe to put this email into my user's inbox. Okay, so they are really important. There is one here and here that's the CNAME record, okay, through something called mailgun.org, and that allows for email tracking. Okay, so it allows for people to for this platform to track clicks and people going through links and opens of emails. Okay, so they all do something important. Okay, but our job now is just to copy and paste. Okay, so let's just zip this through. I wonder if I can do my split screen. There's a new option in Chrome for split screen. Maybe I won't bother trying to do it. Okay, so the first off is I need to add a text record for a word mail, and it needs to be this value. So I just click on this box to copy it. So I'm going to go to my bit here, and I'm going to find the bit to add a text records. Okay, and click on a text records. And we're just going to call that mail. And the value is paste that in. Okay, so it's mail.aibizconsultant.co.uk. And there is a bit, you see this bit here? It says SPF. Okay, so that is an SPF record, which is to do with spam control and ownership and things like that. Okay, so click, copy and paste, click save. All right, so that is the first one done. The next is another text record, and it's got to be the host is this. So we just click copy. And we go back to the text record, add another text record, and I'm going to paste that mx.domainkey.mail, whatever that means. And then let's go and collect this required value, copy that, and paste it in there, and click save. Okay, that's two down. Okay, so it is, I say, it is really a copy and paste process. Right, the next one is a CNAME. So let's do this fairly quickly. Add a CNAME record. Let's paste that in that bit. And oh, I've got it again. Right, and then we want mailgun.org. Paste that in there. This is riveting stuff, isn't it? Copy and paste. Right, nearly there. MX records. Just mail. Right, so I'm just going to copy that one. Right, where's MX records in here? There it is. Add an MX record. Mail. Priority required. I don't know whether there's, it's not even giving me a number for priority required. Okay, so let's just leave that blank. Priority required. Okay. It's got to be 0 to 6,535. Okay. So I don't know what that is. So let's find out. Let's drag in some AI into here. Okay, take a screenshot of that one and take a screenshot of that one here. Da, da, da. And let's do a, okay. Let's add those two screenshots into a chat. That one and that one. Oh, come on. Let's just do it as a list, make sure that's there. Come on, cursor work. There we are. Two screenshots going in. Let's just have a chat with AI. I am just connecting my domain inside Go High Level or Ultimate Business System into my fast host. So I'm setting up the CNAME and all the MX records. And there's one value that it hasn't given me inside the Ultimate Business System platform for a value. Okay, can you work out what I should put in the box? Okay, let's just see what it says. I couldn't remember the name of that little box. Um, yeah, priority value, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so let's just see what you're on. Okay, so you're on the MX record screen in file host. The only missing field is priority. When connecting to Mailgun, the standard MX priorities are 10. Okay, so we just need to set that to 10. Okay, how many? Let's just do that then. Okay, there we are. We fixed the problem. AI, we love you. Okay, and right, I think there was one more, wasn't there? There's another mail MX and this one here. Okay, so we need to go to that MX records 2. Mail points to priority request 10. Okay, right, that's it. That's all those ones connected. That's cool. Right. Now, once they've had a little bit of time to settle those sort of 5 copy and paste records, okay, then you need to verify the records. Okay, they might not work straight away because they might take a few minutes to settle or longer. Let's just see what happens. Apply and verify. Okay. Okay, so the text record has gone through. That's been verified. It's just the DMARC one that hasn't been verified yet. Okay, so let's just have a look at that one. That was a text record, DMARC 1P none. Okay, this DMARC one is probably one I'll come back to in another training because over time you have to change this word under the P value as your account gets a bit older and a bit more mature and a bit more trust. Okay, you change the setting on there, but P equals none is a good way to start. Okay, so that might just take a bit of time to work through. Okay, let me just give it one more go. See if it settles. Okay. Okay, did I click the wrong button there? Okay, so that's kind of all setting. You can go back to it through email services, SMTP service, and view configuration. Okay, you can always go back to those settings. Oh, that's domain configuration. Um, Okay, it's issued in SSL. That's cool. That's good. Okay. And then it says warm up in progress. Again, I'm going to sort of cover that um, as well. Okay, so that all seems to be connected, which is good. Okay. Now, the one thing that I'm now going to show you to do is to check that email address more properly in the settings for it. Okay, there is a great site called MX Toolbox, the super tool. Let's just zoom in. Has anyone used this? It's really cool. Okay, what this you do in here is you can set in your any email address or domain name, and it will check all the records in there. So I'm just going to put in the info at um, aibizconsultant.co.uk, and I'm going to set this to check the email health. And it will give me a full report on anything that I still need to check. Okay, so there's 5 errors in here and a couple of warnings. Okay. Um, okay, so AI Biz concerned. Okay, that's not a problem. That's just because I'm still setting up the domain. Okay. DMARC quarantine reject policy not enabled. Okay. Don't worry about the blacklist at the moment, just because it's kind of a new email on there. Okay. It's recommended the quarantine or reject policy. Not a problem. Okay. So I wouldn't worry about this too much at the moment. This is going to take a little bit of time to filter through the settings that I've just changed. Okay, but I would periodically come back and check this email address and just see if I can reduce the errors. There is sort of more info on here, and you're trying to get rid of these errors. And the more errors you can get rid of, it's going to improve your email deliverability. Okay, it's cool. They do have a paid version where they'll do the work for you. Okay, but you know what I'd do? I would just take a picture of this and have a chat with AI and say, okay, right, how can I fix these one by one or improve them? Okay, and AI will walk you through it. All right. Okay, so that's the first part of connecting the domain. We'll let that settle down. Okay, there's a reply and forward setting in here. Okay, so essentially by setting up that mail dot aibizsuccess.co.uk subdomain, any of the platform emails that go out of here, like a receipt or something like that, are going to come from that address. Okay, but we need to give people a reply to address to come back to. Okay, so we're going to put in the info at aibizconsultant.co.uk in here so that people have got a reply address to come back to. Uh, right, and you've got a forwarding address here as well. So you could set up in here so that all of your internal notifications go to your personal Gmail address. Okay, so I'm going to put that in here. Automation elation at gmail.com. That's good. Make sure it is spelled correctly. Okay, so I'm going to get a copy of those sort of system notifications inside my Gmail. And if people need to reply, they've got the why didn't that save? Don't know why that hasn't gone in. Maybe it's just I don't know. Don't know why that's not showing. Just going to refresh it. Tony said he saw live mail is blacklisted. Doesn't that blacklist? Doesn't that concern you? Um, it does at the moment, but at the moment I'm just letting those DNS settings um, settle a bit. Okay, and I could then go back and check that again and deal with any issues with it. Okay. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on that one as well. All right. Reply and forward settings. I don't know why that hasn't. I should be able to just see that, shouldn't I? How strange. Don't know. I'll come back and have a look at that. Okay. Email analytics. This is where you'll see all the sort of metrics about stuff that we're sending in and out. Okay. Your risk assessment. I've never really used this at all. Keeps a track of your email verification. I don't have any data in there at the moment. You can see reasons for emails bouncing. Okay, so that's when you're starting to do email marketing, and they're getting your emails are getting rejected from email servers. And there's a button here that says troubleshoot email bounces. Okay, and there is Postmaster tools. Okay, or Microsoft tools as well. Okay, this is another thing that Google Postmaster are slowly changing. Um, so we're waiting for a bit of a change to that. Okay, it says connect to Google Postmaster. So let's do this. And this is a good way of getting some data back from Google to see how the messages that you've sent from your platform, marketing messages to Gmail accounts, how they are being viewed and rejected. Okay, so it can give you some good indications. Okay, so what I'm going to do is continue to lead connector. I'm going to set it up inside of this account, I think. Okay, let's just trust that. Okay. And then I will be able to log into that Google Postmaster tools and get some through that automation relation count and get to start seeing some data about the email performance inside here. Okay, so that's kind of an if you want to. Okay, I don't know what the Microsoft SNDS is. IP not found in your account. You're on a shared IP. Okay, so you need to have a dedicated IP. Okay, which you can get a dedicated IP address inside Ultimate Business System. It does come as an extra charge. So an IP address is kind of like the address that you're sending your emails out from. And on a shared IP, you get emails are kind of like being sent from a range of kind of different IP addresses close together. Okay, so it's kind of like a block of IP addresses. And sometimes you can have, if you've got someone in that block of IP addresses who's got a bad reputation for spam, that can affect your sending statistics. Okay, it can have a knock-on effect in that everyone else in that block of IP addresses. Okay, so you can actually purchase your own individual IP address so that you're just coming from one sending number. Okay, but I think it's about sort of I think it's about $40 or $50 a month, something like that. But if you're doing volume marketing, that's well worth it. Okay, so that's essentially the majority of the stuff that I will set up. There's one other bit I saw a bit earlier under my profile, which I had to come into. I only saw this a bit earlier. So this is my kind of like login profile to my AI business consultant sub account. And there is something here that says email two-way sync, connect to sync incoming and outgoing emails between the CRM and your personal email account. Okay, so I'm going to see how that works. And it says connect. So I've connected to that automation relation account. It wants these permissions. Okay. So now that is synced. So I'll monitor what that actually does. Okay. And so just a new setting I came across. That might be helpful as well. All right. So lots of techie stuff going on. Okay, but we've now got to the point where I've got a business email address. I'm going to monitor those domain health issues because Tony is a bit worried about that blacklist marker on um, this there on the mail server.livemail.co.uk. So that may become an issue. I didn't know that that was going to pop up. Okay, but I've kind of given you a few options of where you could buy your domain through. Okay, it may be that FastHost isn't the best option. Okay, but there's let me zip through. You know, there's plenty of other places you can get domain emails from. Okay, and it may be you get what you pay for. So things like Zoho and Proton Mail, all the big ones with Outlook and Google Workspace. You know, if you have those, you're going to have that spot on sort of sending reputation. So you get what you pay for. I just like to try and give you a system that will give you an option to do it cheaply, as well as the pro version. Okay, so different options are available. Cool. Right. I know that's lots to go through and lots of techie stuff. But once you've got this mail set up inside of Ultimate Business System and your sub account, okay, then we can start looking at building an email list and setting up mail automations to send out to people. Okay, we can more confidently get people engaging with the business and you know, getting answers from the platform that have been going to be sent from the mail account. So it's really critical to get all that bit set up. Okay. Cool. Right. Any other questions? Okay. I know this is probably going to be one where you need the replay to go through bit by bit. All right. But definitely using AI is awesome to fix a lot of those quick issues. So it's always worth seeing that in action. Right. And yeah, Roger says, thank you. I appreciate your clear instruction. Well, you must have been watching something else that was rambling. No, it's a difficult subject to try and teach. It really is, because there are so many things that can go wrong and crop up with a process like this. You know, because the platforms can change all the time. Okay, so it is just a process of a bit of trial and error, and if you hit that roadblock, there are ways of overcoming it and making yourself move forward with that AI route. Okay, so that's cool. But at the end of the day, bottom line, it's copy and paste a lot of that. Just copy and paste the records and put them in the right place. Okay, but it's knowing the places to put them in that is the issue, isn't it? Okay, this is why we're just trying to demystify the platform. The more you use it and the more you poke around in it, then the easier it becomes. Okay, Cool. Right. That's excellent. Okay, Yvonne says useful information, but I'm unlikely to pursue this unless I really have to. Okay, but this is Yvonne. This is quite a critical thing for if you're going to be setting up a business or migrating a business onto Ultimate Business System, you're going to need that email set up inside the platform. Okay, this is a powerful bit of software. We want people to use it. We want people to build on it because it's going to save you a bunch of money in the long run. For £100 a month or whatever it is, platform fee. It's so much less than all the other bits of software that you need to run a modern business on. Okay. Um, so yeah, there is a lot of learning to overcome, but this is why we're giving you these surgery sessions to pick away at it bit by bit by bit. Don't forget that when you sign up to the platform now, you also get the new course that Max and I are building. Well, mostly Max at the minute. Okay, which walks you through various bits about getting started, and there's one-to-one sessions as well in here. Okay, so we're trying to build a kind of like that whole support network. Okay, there's a last question here. Roger says, can you just confirm when Gmail phase out POP3 support, will we still be able to send a POP3 email to an email account? Um, duh, duh, duh. I don't know, Roger. I don't know about how that um, actually works in process. In because that POP3 for me is uh, more about. Uh, let me just it's more about the sort of checking a way of checking the account, your email in another account. Okay. Um, okay. So you'll still be able to send to a Gmail address. When Google phases out POP3, it affects how Gmail retrieves mail. Yeah, it doesn't affect the delivery. Okay. So you'll still be able to see them. It's just you're not going to be able to get domain emails inside your sort of personal Gmail account. Uh, Chimbasua says domain names can be used from other countries. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's any domain extension is going to work. Not a problem. So if you've got a .si or a .ru or a whatever, it's all going to work. You're just setting up those text records and CNAME records. Okay. Um, Tony says POP3 point of presence like lives on the device. IMAP is more of a webmail or cloud. Okay. Yeah, from what I understand it, the reason why they're getting rid of this POP3 is actually it's quite easy for people to break, and it's a lot less secure. So that's the main reason they're putting forward for getting rid of it. Okay. But yeah, we just have to find other ways of getting around it. And it's going to cost a little bit um, of extra cash, of course. And Carl, of course, has said he's given me what POP means. Post Office Protocol version 3, POP 3. Okay. So if that comes up in your quiz on a Friday night, okay, you've got POP and SMTP down to Pat if you haven't forgotten them already. Post Office Protocol versus 3. Okay, cool. Lovely. Okay, I think that's quite enough from me for today. Whoever is up next week, I think it's either Max or Vish, and I think we're also organising for our friend Jeremy to do some surgery sessions. Jeremy Mason, who is a video expert. Okay, and video using AI as well. Okay, so we're just bringing in another new skill set into the surgery to give you as much knowledge as possible. Okay, and also so you don't have to see me quite so often. I know, I think Fish has been doing sort of two a month. Okay, but we're bringing Jeremy in. He's a lovely guy. A lot of you will have met or seen Jeremy in some of the other training. Okay, that's cool. Right, I am off to help people on support and catch up with my work. So I will thank you all for being with me, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.